Hey guys, this is Cam from 15 and joined by the
That's the best flag ever.
Thank you. Hey, we are back here joined with another One Piece arc review. And I think I'm gonna keep the tradition of having the One Piece flag poster I have back really in my room, you know, just hanging for the next few videos. Obviously I have to position things where my face isn't more darkened, but hey, it doesn't matter. Yeah, so we're here to talk about more One Piece this Sunday, and this arc this Sunday that we are going to be talking about is the Reverse Mountain arc and Whiskey Peak, which Whiskey Peak more than Reverse Mountain is the start of the Alabasta Saga, which it starts the trend of One Piece arcs going forward, where they have these smaller arcs built up to one big finale arc going up against the main grand antagonist. They do it for they kind of don't do it for Skypiea a bit. They do it definitely for Water 7 and Enna's Lobby. They do that for Marine, the Marineford arc. They definitely do that for Dressrosa, which, all of that stuff, the New World stuff really ties in to what's currently going on in the Wano arc. Actually, one thing I have to do is knock this thing down because it was in the way of the flag. Anyways, like I said, we're here to talk about Reverse Mountain. Hopefully everybody's having a great, safe, weekend or start to your week. I know people in California, they've been getting it in hell. And when I mean hell, it's literally been burning like it's hell itself. We're from California and we are having record highs in the temperatures. Like next week is going to be straight 100 degrees, and I'm not looking forward to going outside.
Nobody is, man. Nobody is.
It's already bad enough that COVID, the virus is a thing. But if you didn't see on the news yesterday, we had there was bad thunderstorms in, I think, Santa Ana at like 2 a.m. There was a fire tornado yesterday. And then plus, oh, trust me, there were fire tornadoes.
It's rare to see those.
And then it doesn't help because since it's so hot, everything burns on fire. So you got all them forest fires starting out again. And yet, I have a friend in Connecticut saying California is the place that burns on fire. It's hard not to burn on fire when your temperature is legit 100 degrees almost daily now. Again, why is August the hottest month in California? I have no clue. And how baseball players are playing in that heat? I have no clue either.
Yeah, why? Literally, why?
Yeah, there was an Angels-Dodgers game, and they were playing at 1 o'clock. That's probably the most time it's the hottest. I don't know how Anaheim is when it comes to how hot it can get, but I would not be playing if you let me get some long pants just to play a baseball game in the sun. No, I can't do that. Anyways, regardless about California weather, we're here to talk about Reverse Mountain and stuff like that. So, Reverse Mountain. So, as we last left off with Logtown, the Straw Hat Pirates enter into Reverse Mountain, or the Red Line, and essentially they go up the slope, and as they're going up, they get to the highest point, and then next thing you know, they plop down into a slide guarding the entrance to the New World, what the hell? The Grand Line. So the thing is, which is actually pretty interesting now that you think about it, now that we know much more, well, not a lot about the Red Line, but just the fact that when they were headed up the Red Line, on the Reverse Mountain, little waterways, you could see them go up into the clouds. Now, not the highest point of the Red Line continent. We know another little country up there that is at the highest point. We won't bring that up till later. But it made me think, I wonder how high is that point compared to a certain other country?
I wonder.
Anyways, they head back down and they're flying down into, riding down back into the clouds to get to, I guess, regular level. Um, and essentially, Luffy and the others hear some kind of moaning noise. Now they think like this sounds like a whale. Next thing you know, you see this big black thing in front of them, and they see it is an actual gigantic whale. All losing their minds.
Mm-hmm.
Now, actually, in the meantime, they can't do nothing. Okay, sorry for that. In the meantime, they can't. They're trying to turn, but they really can't turn because their little steering wheel is broken because of way back before they entered the Grand Line, and they're trying to turn and stuff like that. And they stop right in front of the whale, and the merry head kind of breaks off, and kind of takes this into his own dang. Well, actually, before that even happens, Luffy's like, I got an idea to stop the ship from moving any farther. Man, Luffy, I'm mad. This dude, he goes down to the bunkers of the ship. He fires the cannon at the whale, and Nami, Usopp, Sanji, and Zoro are like, you idiot, what are you doing? So the obviously reacts by giving a huge scream. Then when Luffy finds out that the merry head is obviously broken, he's like, you ripped my sitting point. Damn you. He punches this thing, the whale, in the eye. All I gotta say is Luffy, man, he is a very colorful fellow. He will get in fights with whales.
He gets into fights with anybody, to be honest.
That is true. Now the whale reacts, looks down at them, and all the other people think they're gonna die. Now he kind of sets down, he opens his mouth, and he kind of sucks in all the water, into them. Now Luffy, he actually falls off, but he manages to hold on to one of the whale's teeth, while Zoro and the others in the ship, they're essentially, I guess you can say, being swallowed.
Mm-hmm.
Luffy, he managed to get on top of the whale. Now, the whale actually starts to sink into the water, and as we all know, Luffy can't swim. So the interesting thing about the whale is Luffy sees like this door on the legit whale. And when I was watching this, I was like, wait, is this whale some kind of robot?
I don't know, man. One Piece logic and their body parts, unusual body parts. You tell me.
Yeah. So Luffy, before the whale submerges, he gets in through the door. On the meanwhile, while Zoro, Nami, and Usopp and Sanji, they are essentially in the whale's stomach. And they're wondering, like, where are we? Because they're looking around the area. They see, like, it's looking like as if they were outside. Like, they see the clouds. They see there's obviously water in there, which we later found out is hydrochloric gastric acid. We see this little land area with a hut or a house on it. Next, we see this old man walk out, and looking at him. And can I just say the anime did this scene so funny when they're just looking at him and they're doing the thing where it's like boom, 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 and then they focus in on the dude's eyes, and he's like, and I'm like, what the heck? They do this like 3 more times, which is hilarious. And it gets to the point where when they're interacting with him finally, it gets to the point they do it again. And then everyone is like, just stop that! Like they're breaking the fourth wall or something. I'm sorry. I saw that. I was watching the episodes and I was like, that was freaking hilarious when it was just doing the whole close-up shots on like, when it looked like it's going to be some serious moment. And then Zoro, Nami, Usopp, and Sanji just break the fourth wall by just saying, just stop doing that. So yeah. Anyways, after Sanji and Zoro get annoyed by this dude, old man's responses, we found out this old man, his name is Crocus, and legit they are in a whale. They're not out at sea. They're legit in the whale, and that's when the others realize, oh wait, if we're in the whale, then that means that water that's not seawater. That's acid, which will digest you essentially and will burn the ship alive. Um, in the meantime, Luffy, he's looking around, and as he's looking around, you can see all these like metal parts in the whale, and he's like, I never seen a whale with these insides like this. I don't even know if whales have insides like this. Um, he later runs into, after obviously the whale starts ramming his head into the red line. He starts to fall down, and this is when we see two interesting characters. I have these two, I guess, bazookas or whatever you want to call them. Now there's one. Now the guy character is called Mr. Nine, and the girl character is called Miss Wednesday.
I'm pinning the blame on a certain future villain that we will see later on.
Anyways, Luffy runs into those guys. And in the meantime, before that even happens, Crocus, to settle the whale down, he actually dives into the acid. He climbs up this ladder, and he goes in, and he has like you shot syringe thing, and he's like, Laboon, calm down. You cannot be ramming into the red line like that. And by injecting this, I guess you can say syringe, he calms down Laboon, which is the whale's name. When he comes back, he sees that Luffy and the other two misfits fly out, and they manage to save Luffy and the two other misfits. They manage to tie the two misfits up, or Mr. Nine and Miss Wednesday, up, and yeah. So that's when they talk about what's going on here and how they can get out. Now, listen, there's a gate. They manage to get out of the whale, and then that's when they get to the Twin Capes at Reverse Mountain and stuff like that. So then we get some world building about the Grand Line, and we get some backstory, which, albeit it's a very emotional backstory for a whale, which I know when I first did my review on the Alabasta Saga, I didn't really like this arc. I still kind of don't really like this arc because it's a much more shorter arc. So I guess that's one thing I can take away is it's a short arc. If you watch the anime version, it's only like 3 episodes. So yeah. Anyways, Crocus, talks about the fact that he's a doctor and everything, and Luffy mentions, "Hey, you're a doctor. You should join our crew. We could use a doctor." Which hint happen for another 4 arcs. Anyways, Crocus goes on to, huh?
Are you sure it's just 4 arcs? Are you sure it's 4 arcs? Maybe less.
Yeah, Reverse Mountain, Misty Peak, Little Garden, Drum Island.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, Crocus goes on to mention about the backstory of Laboon and stuff like that, which do you remember this backstory?
Something about like him waiting for his crew for a certain crew to come back.
Okay, I'll remember. I'll detail. Now, Laboon, he is a whale of, I guess, a very rare species where he's a giant whale species, and as like I guess a little whale, he sailed with this really kind pirate crew. Bless you.
Thank you.
This really kind pirate crew, and this really kind pirate crew, just to recuperate and get ready for their voyage on the Grand Line. I forgot how many years this was. I think they said 50 years or something like that. Anyways, they're just recuperating there, and they actually, hang out at Crocus's place on the Twin Capes, and they, build a bond with Crocus, as well as Crocus building a bond with the pirates and even Laboon the whale. Now, at the point, where the other pirates had to go leave to continue their journey on the Grand Line, but they left Laboon at the Twin Capes because the pirate captain said, hey, the Grand Line is too dangerous for a whale like you, and you need to stay here at the Capes, and when we are done with our voyage and our journey, we will come back and retrieve you again, and stuff like that. So for the time being, Laboon has waited all those years for the pirate crew to return, and they have not returned, which is very sad. And Crocus goes on to mention he misses them so much. He tries to get back with them by smashing his head up against the red line, not even caring about how much damage he could be doing it to himself. And that's why Crocus, and logic, how you can go inside a whale and kind of make a whale almost robotic-like to prevent him from hurting himself and damage himself interiorly, I have no clue. It will kind of bring up a future thing that is essentially built later on in a future arc that I still have questions about to this day, how that was built. But the same thing with Laboon. But regardless, you can tell that Crocus is a nice man, and he really cares about Laboon and stuff like that. And you even see, a flashback where Crocus is telling Laboon, like, Laboon, the people aren't coming back. And he even told, and the other Straw Hats are like, well, if it's been this long, more than likely those pirates would have been dead by now. And even Crocus said, yeah, I think I come to the conclusion that they would have died, just abandoning him. Because that was the thing. They might have, and they speculate, the pirates might have actually abandoned Laboon, and then, like karma, it got the better end of those pirates. Again, keep this point in mind for a future arc. But it was a very sad backstory for an animal, and it goes to show that it's an animal attached to people that gets really attached to you, and they just don't want to leave you go. It's like a dog you're trying to release, but they won't leave because they like you, and it's kind of one of those sad animal stories. Your thoughts?
Just the thought of him hurting himself, just because, well, didn't Crocus tell him that they probably might have died out, and that's when he started hitting himself and stuff.
Yeah. Because Laboon didn't believe it.
It's pretty brutal.
Yeah. It is an emotional thing. The fact that it's really an emotional story throughout. The fact that you can get emotional about a whale, like who would get emotional about whales really in the real world? Not many people. But hey, to each his own. You can create bonds with whales in this world. If only that was in real life. Well, I guess to an extent with SeaWorld, but then again, there was a SeaWorld trainer that got killed by Shamu.
I remember. Yeah, I remember watching something like that.
Yeah. So Crocus goes on to mention some things. Okay. Now we go back to Mr. Nine and Miss Wednesday. Now Luffy, they actually escape and they just bail. Now in the meantime, Luffy's on the ship and he picks up this little item. And he's like, I wonder what this is. So, hold on for a second, guys. Okay, anyways, guys, sorry for that. Needed to know something. Anyways, back to what we were talking about. Now Luffy brings up this thing. And while Nami is looking to obviously map out where to go next, she sees that her compass is going all haywire and it's just spinning nonstop. And Nami's like, oh my goodness, the compass is broken. How are we going to do this? But then this is when Crocus goes on to mention, like, no, your compass ain't broken. Your compass, it just can't be used in the Grand Line. And we find out is the reason why is because on the islands in the Grand Line, there's a magnetic pole, I guess link between islands, which, can disrupt just a regular compass's, trajectory and makes it spin like that. Now, Crocus, he goes on to mention the way to sail the Grand Line, which he even mentioned, like, how do you expect to even sell the Grand Line if you didn't even have this object? You would have just been probably selling out to your death. You need a log pose to be able to sell the Grand Line. And what happens is with a log pose, it connects based on the magnetic pulse that's emanating from that island. The log pose directs you to that island. And we see, which is more world building, is that there are many other different routes to take in the Grand Line. Like there's multiple routes, and it all ends at one point, which we later find out is Sabori Archipelago, which again is near the Red Line. And I did say I might do a map talking about the One Piece world, but when we get to the new world at the start, that's when I'll talk about, the One Piece world and stuff like that. Anyways, they have to do that to traject it, and essentially the log post is directed to that island, and you have to go to that island where the log post tells you to go to. And essentially, once you get to that island, the log post will reset to the next trajected island in some time frame, and then that's when you move on to the next island. So it's a very interesting, I guess, device complex to the Grand Line, which makes things different. It leads into more of the way of saying like, oh, it's a pirate graveyard, because if you don't have this object, you might end up going to dangerous that you don't want to be on. I guess your thoughts on this new compass device, Denzel?
So it was a little complex for me to understand when I first found out about it, but I guess after a while, I kind of got the gist of it.
Mm-hmm. Now Luffy shows Nami like, oh, are you talking about this thing? And yeah, now that is a log pose. We find out later that was Mr. Nine and Miss Wednesday's log pose. But let's just say that log pose ends up breaking because of the stupidity of Sanji and Luffy. In the meantime, while Crocus was talking about the log pose and more of the Grand Line stuff, Luffy was eating a fish that Sanji cooked for everybody, and Sanji took offense to it. He's like, I saved this food for Nami. Why are you eating this? And he kind of kicks Luffy to the point that the air pressure breaks the log pose. And now, I don't know why Nami got pissed off at Luffy, even though it's not his fault. He didn't do anything. Got mad at Sanji. Well, she still did, but I just found it interesting how she hit Luffy for no reason. I'm like, Luffy didn't cause this.
Nami's a hothead. What do you expect?
Oh, to be honest, she is the Bulma version of One Piece in terms of the hot-headed shonen protagonist girl.
Along with many others like Lucy Heart Failure from Fairy Tail.
Anyways, now because of this, they think all hope is lost, and they're like, oh crap, we won't be able to traverse the Grand Line now. We're doomed. But Crocus is like, since you guys helped me out with Laboon, I guess I can give you my own log pose. So, again, Crocus showing he's a nice dude. Now, Mr. Nine and Miss Wednesday show up, and they're like, please take us back to our home, our homeland called Whiskey Peak and stuff like that. Do that, and I swear, we will be kind to you and stuff like that. And at first, the others don't believe it, but Luffy's like, all right, you might as well take them home. They're not bothering us for any other reason. So, yeah. And then the last thing before we leave the Twin Capes or Reverse Mountain is Luffy has kind of an indirect fight with Laboon, and it's a way to cheer Laboon up, which it was a nice, heartfelt moment. And after the fight's over, Luffy paints this emblem, although it's his messed up emblem of how he draws it, on Laboon's forehead, and he promises Laboon that when his journey is done, he will come back and, hello, and he makes his promise. So essentially, doing the promise that the other past pirates who promised Laboon that he would do for them, which will kind of play into a huge aspect later down in the storyline.
One thing that got me thinking up to this point in One Piece, as far as we've gotten so far in One Piece, is Laboon really willing to wait again for another pirate crew? Like Luffy?
I think you could say the fight he had with Luffy made it where he had that trust with him, and he was like, okay, I can trust this person, and he's not lying to me. Like I said, hey, we'll talk about in-depth backstory when it comes to more Laboon stuff, but that won't be featured for another 3 arcs essentially. So yeah, or 3 sagas to be honest. But yeah, that plot point is done. Luffy and the others, they sail off finally to the Grand Line, into really the heart of the Grand Line, and now their Grand Line journeys begin. I also forgot to mention last week is that, because I'm going to update you with their goals. So Luffy, obviously, we know his goal is to become King of the Pirates. Zoro's goal, sent Denzel.
Being the strongest swordsman.
Usopp is to be a brave warrior of the sea. Sanji.
And wants to see the all blue.
And then Nami is to draw all the world's maps, essentially. Essentially, it's her indirect way of saying being the best navigator out there. To be honest, and what we've seen of her, she might honestly be the best navigator in the One Piece world. Because she can predict freaking weather and stuff like that like crazy. But, anyways, the pirate crew sailing on their way to Whiskey Peak. And before I get to mention, so you know how they said the Grand Line is crazy when it comes to weather? Yeah. You see this montage of before they get to Whiskey Peak of the fact that they're going through all of these weather changes. Like at one minute there's snow, next minute there's freaking rain and thunderstorms, next minute it's freaking like 100-degree weather heat like we're getting here in California. And you can see, oh, the Grand Line has rapid weather changes. Man, they really are not joking about the Grand Line being a pirate graveyard if you're not adjusted to this stuff. And you see the fact that, Luffy and the others, they have to adjust their ship stuff because of all of this and stuff like that. And like sometimes they have to raise the sail, sometimes they have to lower it. And they have to do all these things to essentially keep the merry going on. And you just see like, man, are they even ready for this?
Yeah, let me point out that this is the start of the Going Merry going through a whole lot of damage. If you know what I mean.
Yeah. I guess another question I can ask you: what were your thoughts when you were first watching about the rapid weather change?
How are they gonna survive all this? I mean, they just got here and it's already super crazy for them.
Yeah. Now, just one thing to mention. The only thing I guess I don't like about the whole Grand Line and even the new world aspect too is they say those waters have like some of the most feared waters and some of the most crazy weather changes, but they do it for like the first entrance episode to those respective waters, and they kind of just stop that and they make it like as if they were sailing on the East Blue Sea again. You can say that's as a nitpick, but it's like, well, they never kind of bring it back. But then again, it's like it has something to do with like, I guess you can say the island weather changes because you'll have some summer islands, some winter islands, spring islands, and fall islands they later bring up. But I still was like, well, they kind of stopped the rapid, weather changes. And I know, yes, it would get repetitive after a while, but every now and then they kind of continue to do it.
Maybe.
Okay. Anyways, the Strand Pirates arrive at Whiskey Peak, which looks like, I guess, a cactus desert area. And the interesting thing when they enter Whiskey Peak is something that you would think people wouldn't do for pirates. And you just see all these people near the cove they're entering start like cheering them and celebrating them. And when I was watching, this was like, why are they celebrating? Why are they happy that pirates are there? Usually they're like, pirates are here. Where's the Marines? But these are just up and are like, congratulations, you did it. So I'm like, okay, are they congratulating them for making the Grand Line? I guess it makes sense.
I guess.
So we run into the man, which is a very interesting guy who starts the trend of repeated laughs going on in the series.
Mama.
Um, he is well, I'm gonna say his real name, but his name is we find out his name's later Igaram, but he is essentially the mayor of Whiskey Peak, and they're welcoming Luffy and the others for obviously selling the Grand Line and stuff like that. And they're like, "Hey, we want to celebrate your hard work on selling the Grand Line and getting to this point." So essentially, they kind of have a party out, essentially a huge city party or town party. You have Sanji freaking with the ladies, just like losing his mind. Like, I'm with the ladies. Great, great, great. Um,
And Luffy stuffing his face. Zoro getting all drunk.
as well as Nami playing some drunk game where who can drink more.
As well as Usopp telling his tall tales.
Oh, yes. I know. Lying again. Um, I will just say this in Nami and Zoro's case, especially Nami's case, they're definitely not 21 years of age. I'm just gonna say that they're definitely not 21 years of age. And the fact that they're underage drinking and they seem to be drinking heavily at most. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's okay, but you had Nami take like I think 20 freaking shots of alcohol, and somehow later is a-okay.
You know, in at the time when I watched it, I never really thought about their age when they were drinking. I just like, oh, it's a typical anime character drinking, and all of a sudden you just told me that, like, oh.
Yeah, they're underage drinking. I will have I don't have their ages now, but I'll have their ages next week, and I'll tell you their ages because I know Luffy for a fact. He's 17 years old. Um, I think I think Nami's the same age as him. Um, Usopp is definitely the same age as him. I think Zoro is a year older than Luffy. And same with Sanji, as I believe as well. I'll get their accurate ages for pre-time skip stuff, right? So, yeah. But anyways, they kind of, are partying so much to the point, now it gets nighttime, and then we see Igaram, this one big buff lady, Mr. Nine, and Miss Wednesday all meet up, and we find out that they are not really good individuals. They are bad guys. Now, Igaram, his code number is Mr. 8, and the big buff lady is called Miss Monday.
What's the names?
Yes, we'll get to that. Now, their idea is to essentially kill Luffy and the others since they're all knocked out and tired. But a certain swordsman, let's just say, was prepared for this. And can I just say, this next scene, man, my God. If you didn't already like Zoro or respect him enough, you gotta love him more because this man takes down 100 people.
Mm-hmm.
So, first things first, when Zoro sees all of this, we find out that the group that, Mr. 8 and the other weird code name guys are in, they're in a secret agent called Baroque Works. Now, again, in the manga, they call this saga, well, even though you can barely see, the Baroque Works saga, even though it's called Alabasta. On all the I have the entire Baroque Works 3-in-1 manga. They call them Baroque Works. I don't know why. They should just call them Alabasta. Don't know why they didn't do that. But anyways, they're a secret, I guess you can say, crime syndicate, and they're very secretive with stuff, which AKA leads into the code names. So you don't know these people's real exact names. we find out all the people aren't just random townsfolk in Whiskey Peak. They're a legit station Baroque Works agents stationed there to essentially kill the Straw Hat Pirates. And it was all a trick to kill them all and, get over with. Because they kind of, their thing is they trick these pirates that enter in the Grand Line and they, do this enter with all this with compassion and kindness. And then when they finally get them at the lowest point, which is obviously when they're all passed out and sleeping, that's when they kill them. Now, Zoro is like, yeah, you see, I was kind of already napping on the way when we got here, so I'm kind of energized here anyways. So Zoro legit goes up against 100 people, 100 Baroque Works agents. Like, to the point, there was a kid as Baroque Works agent. I kid you not. There was a kid pretending to be a nice kid, and next thing you know, this kid pulls out a gun, and I'm like, you got kids in on this too? Zoro doesn't kill the kid because he has an honor code. He doesn't kill women or kids unless provoked. So at least Zoro has an honor code. And stuff like that. But still seeing all this, it was pretty freaking cool that Zoro was taking down all these guys easily. Your thoughts on this scene, Denzel?
That was when I started going I guess it's Zoro. Then that's when when I first saw Zoro getting his moment, I was like, I'm starting to like this guy more and more and more.
Now we actually do get backstory some Zoro on the fact that he was actually recruited by Baroque Works, and Baroque Works offered him a place to join in to Baroque Works. But Zoro said he wasn't about that life and he turned it down. It's very interesting. So we know that Baroque Works, they target these very strong individual people for this. Now, this is when Zoro starts to fight essentially the Baroque Works main, people that we see, which is Miss Monday, Igaran, or Mr. 8, Miss Wednesday, and Mr. 9. Now, Mr. 9, he kind of uses dirty tactics and stuff like that. He kind of just, I guess you can say he's a guy that pulls things out of his hat. Tries to get the upper hand, but Zoro easily defeats him. Igaram, or Mr. 8, as we find out, his thing is, apparently he has legit guns in his freaking George Washington-like hair.
Don't ask me, man. Don't ask me.
There was one scene where he actually is like, ma, 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 and then he pulls out his freaking gas. And he starts shooting at Zoro.
That's too many ma's, man. That's too many ma's.
Well, still, it's the repeated laugh trend.
Ma.
Miss Monday, she's just a buff girl. That's all she is. She's just a buff girl. She's just abnormally strong for a woman. Essentially. And Miss Wednesday, she has these little string thingies she spins around on her fingers that she calls her peacock strings, I believe. I forgot what those are called. And also she has a duck.
Slingshots? No, they're not slingshots.
Yeah, I'll have to look that up. And like I said, she also has a duck.
What?
Which we later find out because she was going up against Zoro, and Zoro was legit kicking her butt. And she's like, just wait 1 second. This whole duck comes out of nowhere. And I'm like, this is me first watching this. I'm like, either that's some kind of superpowered duck, or this is going to be some bad trope. So we find out the duck's name is Karu. Also, in the meantime, Nami is reawakened and she's just walking around. We later find out since she's just so good at drinking alcohol, she can't really get drunk, to be honest, or she can handle, I guess, over drinking. Makes no sense how you can somehow not have a hangover over not 24 hours.
Especially for someone so young.
Yeah. Well, no, I guess it explains that when she was on the seas doing all the treasure hunting, she was drinking. And I guess she just gained an intolerance to, I guess, getting drunk, even though we see her getting drunk within the arc. But obviously, like only a few hours later, she's not drunk with no hangover. She's not even throwing up, to be honest. So yeah, I digress. Anyways, so okay. Now this is when things get from crazy to bad. Um, we get some crazy information, and after Zoro beats the two other people, Luffy comes, and this is a fat Luffy. Now, Luffy, he sees what's happening, and he runs across a townsperson, and he's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! Who did this to you?" And one of the injured Baroque Works members or agents that Luffy doesn't know about, he's like, "The swordsman did it." And that's when Luffy gets in or runs into Zoro, and he's like, "How could you do this to the people that treated us so kindly?" And I guess it's just, I guess this was just honestly put in here for a device of, oh, there probably was talk of the town. Who's stronger? Or will we get a Luffy versus Zoro fight? They kind of inserted here. Any sense? No. Um, Even though Zoro for like so many times telling Luffy like, "Yo, these people are not good guys." And Luffy wasn't listening to him because it's Luffy, and I'm like, um, okay, this fight makes no sense, but okay. And if you think the fight's gonna end with a clear winner, it doesn't. Nami is the winner.
Oh yeah, that part made me laugh. Well, actually, they both knocked one other guy out. What was his name again?
Okay, actually, before that. So we see these two other people show up. Now, they confront Miss Wednesday and Igaram, and we see that these two other people are other Baroque Works members, and they're on a higher list than they are. Now, the one guy with the afro-looking hair is called Mr. Five. The lemon dress wearing chick is called Miss Valentine. She is cute, I will say that. She is abnormally evil. Now, we find out that Igaram and Miss Wednesday aren't who they say they really are. And we find out because of some digging from Mr. Five and Miss Valentine is that Miss Wednesday and Mr. Eight are actually in a royal, I guess, they're in a royal country called Alabasta, and Miss Wednesday is actually the princess called Nefertari Vivi or Vivi Nefertari. And they were sent, Mr. Five and Miss Wednesday were sent to kill her. Big bad boss of Baroque Works. So, yeah, when I heard this, I was like, oh, so they are spies essentially. Yeah. Now, they try to escape, but they can't because Mr. Five and Miss Valentine are all powerful. And the reason why they're powerful is they have devil fruit powers. I don't know exactly their devil fruit powers names. I'll get it by the next video because they do make an appearance in the next arc, which is Little Garden. Now, Mr. Five's power, if Denzel, you remember.
Word for word, if he takes something out of his nose.
Yeah, essentially, if you were, yeah, huh?
A legit snot, if I recall.
Essentially.
I'm too uncomfortable before even talking about him.
Yeah, he essentially picks his nose, like legit. They show him in scenes like digging his nose up in his thing. Has this little speck he rolls up of, I guess, I don't even want to know, not and stuff like that. You know,
That's
yeah, the stuff that gets caught in your nose and stuff like that. And then he kind of just flicks it, and it explodes.
mm-hmm.
Now, not Miss Wednesday, Miss Valentine's devil fruit power is essentially she can make herself heavier instantly. So there's one time her umbrella to fly up into the air, and then she says some absurd number, like one, like I think 1 trillion kilos or something like that, and she's as heavy as 1 trillion kilos. To the point, like when she lands and the characters dodge, they just see a legit hole. And I'm like, oh, so she's definitely not a woman you would like sitting on top of you, if you know what I mean.
Pause.
I'm not trying to say I wouldn't. That.
Cameron.
What? Also, she also has the Ponzu hat as well.
No, I feel sad.
Yeah. Oh, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that.
Don't say that. It's heartbreaking just remembering that scene. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, watch Hunter x Hunter.
Anyways, yeah, so it's looking like, anyways, we cut back to this moment. Again, Nami snaps. Now, Nami actually finds Igaram, and Igaram tells, Nami, like, yo, you need to get Princess Vivi out of here. They're on to us, and stuff like that. And Nami, like, typical Nami is like, a princess, huh? So you're from a royal palace and everything. I'll do you one if you, I don't know, pay us an absurd amount of berries.
Head to golo.com now. Find out more. That's
Yeah, so
cat burglar.
Yeah. Now Igaram's like, "Are you insane? We can't do that." And Nami's like, "Well, then I guess we can't save your princess." I'm like, "Okay, you can do it. You can do it. Please, just save the princess." Another thing I also do like is the fact that Miss Monday and Mr. Nine, they actually defend Vivi here, even though they're going up against their own, I guess, co-workers, essentially. They're stepping up even though they know that they're going to die. So I really appreciate the loyalty. When Mr. Nine's like, "Look, I don't know what's going on here, Miss Wednesday, but we're partners, and we're partners till the day we die, and I'm going to stand here and protect you," which I really liked a lot. Anyways, again, cutting back to Nami breaking up Zoro and Luffy's fight. Yes, she punches them. And in the meantime, Mr. Five and Miss Valentine get involved in their little fight, in the Luffy Zoro fight. But yeah, I don't know if there were supposed to be threats here because Luffy and Zoro just guys back like they're complete nothings to these guys.
Mm-hmm.
One, you introduce these new villains that are already bad, who are new bad characters, who look like they're gonna be legit threats. And you two strongest characters or two strongest protagonists knock them out like they're nothing. So I'm already starting to think that Baroque Works is not a good organization.
Well, there's plenty more, just plenty more members, so losing two wouldn't be that big of a deal.
Now, obviously, if you watch one, go ahead with what you're saying.
I just finished.
Now, what you were saying. I don't mean if you wanna wait. Your mom's watching the TV.
Yeah, she's watching TV.
Oh. I just don't want it to be too loud, but anyway, yeah, good. Anyways, now I know what happens in the next arc, where they make a much better a much better, and they're much more of a threat in the next arc. But I'm just looking at strictly, what I'm seeing here, and I'm like, okay, you have these new characters with devil fruit powers, and they're being pushovers. Nice way to introduce these characters, huh? I don't know. It's just my thing with introducing these new characters with new, and this happens for any enemies. I hate how when they introduce these new characters that seem like they're threats to the main protagonist and his group of friends, they kind of get pushed over the side. It happened in Food Wars just last week, where you had these antagonist little buddies, spoilers for Food Wars. Essentially, you have these antagonist buddies, like essentially who look like they could be going up against Soma and his friends in this tournament, but then they get pushed over to the side, and then for some strange reason, apparently the main leader knows that they can cook or knows their cooking style just from touching their weapons, which I still think is BS. Check out my Food Wars videos to get more of my thoughts about that.
Back to One Piece.
Anyways, back to One Piece. I don't know. That's just my thoughts. It does paint a good light in Miss 5 and Miss Valentine, especially when they're the hierarchy of the group of the Baroque Works agents. I don't know how you feel about that, Denzel.
Not sure how to feel about that, actually.
Okay. Anyways, Nami informs Luffy and Zoro about what the heck's going on, and that they have to, and talk to Vivi, and they're like, "So you're Princess Vivi. Well, I guess now we have to protect you, don't we?" And like that. So this is when we get some very huge revelations for the future of this entire saga as a whole. So, okay. So Vivi, Nami, Luffy, and Zoro, they're all talking, and I guess you can say this back alley. And this is when Vivi goes through essentially not her full backstory, but the backstory and what's happening with her and why she did what she did. She tells her that her and Igaram are from the country of Alabasta, which is going to be undergoing a current civil war in the moment. At any moment, because you have these rebels and you have essentially the government, the Alabasta government, essentially at odds. And Vivi says, "My country's in disarray. In the meantime, there is Baroque Works, who's a crime syndicate agent, or a crime syndicate agency trying to take over the country of Alabasta, thanks to their leader, Mr. Zero, who we find out is a warlord named Crocodile."
Absolutely brilliant opposing argument.
So we find out that the main antagonist is a warlord of the sea, one that was hinted before thanks to Yosaku and Johnny, which we've already seen the power of Mihawk. And now we get Crocodile. I say is one of my favorite One Piece villains of all time.
He just likes Alabasta in general because of Vivi.
Anyways, the thing with Crocodile is he's trying to take over Alabasta because of the civil war going on right now. And what's a better time to take over a country when there's an ongoing civil war? Now, fun fact, Vivi's not supposed to say Crocodile's true name or Mr. Zero's true name. And then we see these characters called the Unluckies, or the Vulture is called Miss Friday, and the otter-looking character in the, you can say grandma-looking getup, Mr. 13. Anyways, they managed to overhear that overhear that Vivi said Mr. Zero's true name, and they actually get the drawing accurate faces of Luffy, Nami, and Zoro. They're also being hunted down now by Baroque Works. So now they're all screwed. Now, Igaram comes back after they fly off, and he says, "Okay, here's a good plan. Listen, I'll pretend to dress up like you, Princess Vivi. And now, one, I don't know how that's going to fool anybody. Don't know how, but yeah. So he's like, look, I'll sail off. I'll essentially, pretend to be you. It'll be like a diversion to trick Baroque works. Everything is gonna work and everything's gonna be so happy and lucky. While Vivi and the pirate and Luffy and the others take Vivi to Alabasta to solve out this whole um, Civil War thing, as well as fix Alabasta and stuff like that, and stop Baroque works from overtaking the country. Um, now, so let's just say we think things are going to be going happy. Everyone's going to be like, okay, we got a plan in place. This is going to be going on. Stuff is going to be going, and we're going to be on a journey to Alabasta. And, Igaram waving his goodbye and stuff like that. And, so, please explain to me what happened. I kid you not. When I was first watching this, I was like, oh my God! So, you can see that Baroque Works ain't playing around. When they said they're going to kill them, they are going to kill them. And they got ignorant first. And all you see is this little boat with a lady in it, which I believe is a very, very, very sexy lady.
Just drown me.
Anyways, we see this. Luffy, Zoro, Nami, and Bibi all see this, and they're like shocked beyond belief. They don't even have time to react to the fact about Igaram's death. The first thing Luffy and Zoro did, they look at each other like, get the others and let's head back to the Going Merry right now. They are bucking it because they know. Now, Bibi's over here crying because, the person she grew up with is dead. And Nami's over there consoling her. And she's like, look, it's going to be okay. We'll take you back to Alabasta. Trust me. If there's anybody I know who can take down Baroque Works, it's Luffy. And, it instills that confidence in them. So they have to get the hell out of Whiskey Peak before that shit comes and blows them up too. First things first, I gotta say before we talk into the ending part of this arc. So when I saw this, I was like, oh, so we're not playing anymore. This is no games no more. What we got in East Blue is, when I said what we got in East Blue is legit just only a tiny candle to what we got here. You're already making the threat of the villain much more better than all the past villains of the East Blue Sea Saga combined. By already having your first death from an instant by saying, oh, no. You think this is all fun and games, guys. You think this is all fun and games? No, we're not playing games here. You really want to mess with a warlord? You're going to mess with one. And that will only result in death. When I saw this, I was like, oh, they're not playing no more. They really are on the grand line where pirates are more brutal than we think they are. Your thoughts on that scene when that happened?
Oh my God. What have they gotten themselves into?
Yeah. Now, they get back to the Going Merry. They wake up Usopp and Sanji. They inform what's going on with Usopp and Sanji. Sanji starts to hit on Vivi because he's like, oh, it's you, Miss Wednesday, and stuff like that. Then we get that same woman that blew up Igaram's little ship, and she is on the Going Merry. And she makes an indirect threat. Now, Vivi calls her, oh my goodness, it's Mr. Zero's partner, All Miss Sunday. So she,
Miss All Sunday.
huh?
Miss All Sunday. He said
That's what
All
I
Miss.
said. Miss All Sunday.
You said All Miss Sunday.
Oh, well, my bad. Miss All Sunday. Anyways, she is Mr. Zero, or AKA Crocodile's right hand, partner in this little Baroque Works agency, and she kind of gives, I guess, a few threats to them, and Luffy's like, "Get off my ship," but she just magically disappears, just like that, and then she reappears somewhere else, and stuff like that. So this girl is very, very dangerous, and yeah. She goes on the mention and she's like, "Listen, I can show you, or I can give you something to give you to the way to take you directly to Alabasta. Or you can go to a place called Little Garden." And she kind of makes them an ultimatum and stuff like that. And the others think, we can't trust her. This could be a potential trap here. And, Miss All Sunday is like, well, if you don't want to take the route I'm giving you, then, you might as well just, die. But let it be known, you might be taking a more dangerous route than the route I'm recommending. So she's already giving threats already, and then she kind of just disappears like that. Now, our crew don't listen. They go the route which eventually leads them to Little Garden, which we'll talk about that next week, and stuff like that. But yeah, this was the start. But now, like I said, Reverse Mountain isn't really the start to the Alabasta Saga, even though it's like in the Alabasta Saga arc lineage. This is legit the start of the Alabasta storyline / saga. And it really did go start off with a bang. They already the threat. Oh, I thought you stuck your hand up for saying like, wait 1 minute. They already put the threat in here of the fact that this Baroque Works agency is not something you want to mess with. At the same time, you have a story device in Vivi on getting her back to her country to save her country from not only getting taken over by a crocodile, but as well as stopping the civil war that's being held in Alabasta. So, when I was first watching this, I'm like, okay, I'm liking where the story's going. Let's see if this can keep it up. Whiskey Peak, it's not my favorite arc in the Alabasta Saga, but it was definitely a really good build-up for things to come. And like I said, it's just the start for the next 3 arcs. It's just a build-up, a constant build-up. You get your threat here. Little Garden's kind of, you experience the somewhat scary power of Baroque Works. Drum Island, it's kind of its own thing. And then Alabasta, it's the big finale to everything that's been built up. So, so my thoughts, Reverse Mountain, I thought was fine. I actually kind of appreciate it more than I used to when I was first watching it. It's fine. It's probably my least favorite arc in the entire Alabasta Saga. I'm just going to be blunt, honest with you guys. That's just my thoughts. Whiskey Peak, it's up there. It's up there. It's probably my 4th favorite, but I still like Whiskey Peak just because of the buildup and the moments we got in this episode. The Zoro versus 100 Bounty Hunters of Baroque Works, and the freaking crazy Igaram death scene was that was insane. Your thoughts on both of those arcs we talked about today, Denzel?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I dig them both. I mean, they're not like good, but I think they're good enough for what they are.
So so I guess one thing before too, we kind of really can't get a basis until we see more of her character, and we'll talk about Vivi's character by the time we finish the Alabasta Saga. But my thoughts on Vivi so far is, I'm starting to like her character a lot. 1, because she's definitely attractive. She's my favorite One Piece princess. 2, I like her character because she seems like, okay, she's a very kind person and she's willing to get help when she needs to get that help. Which kind of is a little bit of a plot point later on when we get to Alabasta, but yeah. Your thoughts on Vivi so far up to this point?
My thoughts are the same as yours. Although I promise I won't take her from you. I guess I promise.
Okay. Now we'll talk more about Vivi's character development because over the next few arcs, which is really Little Garden and Drum Island, we kind of see her character develop with how she wants to be an ideal princess, on how a country should be ruled and how people should be treated, which I like a lot. As well as this starts the honorary treatment of Vivi being in the Straw Hat crew. I guess if you want my question, is she a Straw Hat Pirate member? I can consider her being a Straw Hat Pirate. I would say she's more of an honorary, an honorable mention type of Straw Hat pirate person. But she is a person that was on the Straw Hat crew for a while, and she felt like she was a part of the crew. But I will say, yes, she has her place in the Straw Hat crew, but in the overarching scheme, is she a main Straw Hat Pirate? No, she's like a Straw Hat Pirate, from a distance.
She did have her own like personal like wanted theme,
Oh yeah, she did. Yeah, that's where we're gonna end off the video. And next week, which I definitely will have to watch these next arcs, which is the Little Garden arc regarding our first introduction to giants in the One Piece world, as well as the introduction to the, still to this day, anomalous country of Elbaf, which people are predicting might be the next arc in One Piece after Wano. Which I wonder if we will get an Elbaf arc. I kind of hope we do, because they always talk about Elbaf in the One Piece story. As well as we get, huh?
No, I'll save it for later. Hang on.
As well as the next arc we'll talk about is what some people, favorite arc in the Alabasta Saga is, excuse me, Drum Island, or Chopper's main arc, where you get the introduction to Chopper and a new Straw Hat Pirate member. So yeah, that will be next Sunday, barring anything that comes up. So I'm definitely gonna have to get to watching. Yeah, but I can't wait to talk about those two arcs, because those arcs are pretty interesting and stuff like that. And then Sunday after that, we'll only be talking about the Alabasta Saga, the Alabasta arc, which will conclude the Alabasta Saga and stuff like that. But yeah, other than that, that's really it and stuff like that. So.
Wow, I can't believe you made it this far into the video and haven't pressed the like button. Why haven't you pressed it? Why is it gray when it can't be blue? Please.
Like Denzel said, if you like this video, please hit that like button. Put in the comment section your thoughts on the Reverse Mountain arc, your thoughts on Laboon, and I guess right now, don't talk about the extended backstory of Laboon, not now, until we get to that arc. Your thoughts on that? Your thoughts on Crocus? Ooh, I almost forgot to mention. When Luffy and the others left for Whiskey Peak, Crocus mentioned Gold Roger, and he said, interesting. It seems like they might be the next big pirate crew, Roger? So it seems like Crocus also knew Roger, and stuff like that, which you kind of later find out he used to be on Roger's crew. Anyway, yeah, your thoughts about Crocus, and then put in the comments your thoughts about Whiskey Peak, the introduction to Vivi, and the Baroque work stuff, and things like that. I don't really have a question of the day for you guys, so yeah, unless Denzel has something.
What is up with that one person who hasn't pressed the like button? What's up with that?
Anyways, also hit that subscribe button to get more of our One Piece every Sunday, or our One Piece weekly arc reviews, as well as hit the subscribe button to get my One Piece anime episode reviews if you're actually caught up with the anime and you want to get my thoughts. Yesterday, we had the very crazy emotional episode about Tonoyasu and what I think might be even more emotional about Tonoyasu next week. I'm not ready. Anyways, we're gonna get out of here. It's already getting dark out here. So we'll catch you guys on the next video. So till then, guys, hopefully you guys are having a great, safe rest of your day. And hopefully for you people who are checking this video out who are Californians, make sure you stay inside and stay cool. So till then, guys, we're gonna get out of here. We'll catch you guys on the next week's video. Till then, we'll see you guys for Little Garden and Drum Island. Peace.